What is up, ladies and gents? It's your boy Jermaine Event, main on MMA, and today we are checking out this video from ESPN MMA, and it's a little side-by-side interview with Michael Chandler and Paddy the Baddy Pimblett. I'm not shy about my dislike for Michael Chandler, and I personally love to see a good hype train reach its desired destination. So let's check out this interview between Michael Chandler and Paddy the Baddy Pimblett.
Fight card, of course, at the top. We've got featherweights Volkanovski versus Lopez for the vacant title. Lightweights Chandler and Pimblett are going to clash in our co-main event. We've got featherweights Mitchell versus Silva. More featherweights with Rodriguez versus Patricio Pitbull. And we start the main card off with light heavyweights Krylov versus Reyes. And with that now, we welcome in Michael Chandler and Paddy Pimblett, the two gentlemen in our co-main event. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Excited to have you guys here. Michael, I'm going to start with you. Real quick question. You know, you're a guy who always puts on a show. I love that, Paddy. I love the flair. You always put on a show, Michael, but you can't take...
You know what I bet that was right there with Paddy? He's probably got the things. Every time I turn on this Mac, it's always like, oh, turn on the reactions. I remember back in the day, if I did a thumbs up, it kept popping up with a digital like thought bubble that was a thumbs up. And I had to turn that shit off. And it kept like auto going back on. I think that's what's happening with Paddy right now.
Take a risk with a guy like Paddy Pimblett here. So what's your approach in this fight?
Oh, man, I've been doing this for so long. I'm excited to go out there and put it on the line. People haven't seen it maybe, but over the last couple of years, I've really put together some really good game plans. There's some things that happened in the Charles Oliveira
fight. Yeah, people
fight,
haven't seen it.
That really reminded me that I am becoming more and more of a veteran. I think I'm still getting better. So I'm excited to go out there and compete. And my son Hap loves the double thumbs up. I won't do it right now when we FaceTime because it does throw those fireworks up. But that's exactly what this fight is going to be.
That's what it happens. It's these emotes from Mac. I was curious about that. Like, if you do the thumbs up, it'll do some shit. But I turn that bullshit off, man. I control
Paddy,
this.
look, I just saw you in London. I know how seriously you're taking this. Obviously, beating a higher-ranked guy is something for you. But what is your main motivator in this one?
Obviously, I want to come and take rank 7 off Michael. You know what I mean? That's the motivation. Want to stop getting called a prospect and start getting called a contender. So that's the goal. The goal is always to become world champion. And obviously, the extra motivation is my babies. You know what I mean? I've got to put food on the table for them. And if I lose, I won't be getting anywhere near as much. So there's no such thing as losing. We just come in to win.
And I got a question for both of you guys. You know, this is a fight where you're both going out there with something to prove. And along the lines of what you just said, Paddy, about the prospect, both of you guys seem to have doubters that just continue to linger for both of you. What has that been like, and why do you think that's the case for you in particular, Paddy?
I don't know. I think it's because I still look like a 16-year-old boy. You know what I mean? People look at me and look at the hair and think that I'm not a fully grown man when I am now. You know what I mean? People think it before I get in the cage with them, and then when I get in the cage with them and they feel me strength and they feel me technique, they get a sudden realization.
And for you, Michael, same thing. You know, you're a guy that's got to go out there and prove yourself again and go out there against somebody like Paddy. But again, the doubters continue to linger for both you guys. What do you think it is about your style or about you as a fighter that keeps the haters kind of floating around?
It's going to happen, man. I mean, hey, the sport of mixed martial arts, it is a sport at the end of the day. You got to focus on the X's and the O's and the wins and losses. But when it comes to strength of schedule, when it comes to a guy who came in and said what he was going to do and then do it, fight the Mount Rushmore first ballot Hall of Famers of the who's who of the lightweight division.
Is that Tony Ferguson his last win?
But I'm not taking Paddy lightly. An absence of strength of schedule is not the presence of weakness. I'm looking at Paddy like he's the most dangerous guy who I could possibly face on April 12th. Even if he is self-proclaimed, looks like a 16-year-old boy, but he doesn't fight like that. And we're going to go out and we're going to put on a show for the fans.
And Michael, one more for you, buddy. Just along the lines of how do you balance your desire to be as entertaining as you are and always have been with the desire to just get that much-needed hand raise?
I'll tell you what, I've never looked at it like balance, man. Since I was 14 years old, I threw my entire self into hand-to-hand combat. I've never once hit the brakes. I've never once slowed down. I've never once taken no for an answer. Sometimes it gets me a win. Sometimes I take a loss. but I always pick myself back up, and I get in these big fights. Now here we are, co-main event, 5 rounds, Miami. I plan on coming to steal the show, man, and I'm excited to go out there, mix it up with Paddy. I think he'll feel it right away in the first exchange. I am like no other guy that he has fought in his past. With that being said, I'm going to go out there to fight to get my hand raised.
Paddy, my first question is for you. Listen, Mike Chandler has had a long historied career of these crazy fights, just memorable moments against some of the best fighters in the world. And when you look at the straightforward style that he brings into the octagon, what part of that style do you think plays into your favor in this fight?
Everything, to be honest. Other people who he's fought, he's not wrong. He's fought first ballot Hall of Famers, lad, know what I mean? He's fought Poirier, he's fought Gagey, he's fought Charles, all like the best lightweights in the division for the past 5 years. But I think I'm going to make it look easier than they did.
Oh, yeah.
They play into Mike's style. They stand there and brawl with him. I think anywhere this fight goes, I'm going to win. To be honest, the only way I lose here is if I get it with a big, crazy, wild shot on the chin. And as you all know, Scousers don't get knocked out.
Tell them.
There's no way that's happening.
Tell them.
And my last question is for you, Michael. Like you said, you have only fought first ballot Hall of Famers throughout your tenure here in the UFC. But for every fight that you've had, it's always seemed to be that on the other side of a big win could be a title fight. Now, this fight is a lot different. You're having to fight down in the rankings. You're fighting the number 12 guy respectfully. What is your motivation for taking this fight?
I think it's part of the life cycle of a fighter. You know, you continue to fight the top competition at all times, continue to push yourself, but at some point, you've got to give a guy like Paddy an opportunity to prove either he is who he says he is or he is not. But I plan on April 12th to prove who I am, one of the best lightweights on the planet. And Scousers don't get knocked out of.
He says the right things, but he's a scumbag in that octagon.
Apparently, but they've never been hit by the likes of me. I'm really, really excited to test his chin. I'm excited to test his heart, his mettle.
The fans, when you fight at the O2, go crazy. You've got a storied history over there. We've seen the crowds go nuts for you. But what does it mean for you now to be in this moment here, co-main event in Miami? Big, big, big show for you. Is this the arrival for you?
Yeah, this is what I've been waiting for. Know what I mean? I'm in Miami now. Landed here last night. I've had a couple of little walks around the streets. And
can black people be Scousers? Like, is Leon and Lerone Murphy, are they Scousers? Or is that a whites only kind of thing? I don't know.
The shops and all the people are greeting me and asking for photos and stuff like that. So I know Mike lives in Miami, well, he trains in Miami. Don't know if he lives in Miami, but I'll be honest, I'm not the away fighter here. Like, some people go into the Lions Den and get booed. I know everyone's going to be cheering for me. When my song comes on and I walk out, there's nothing like it. I electrify the whole arena. The amount of people what told me at UFC 304 in Manchester, where it was, I didn't walk out till about 4:30, 5 a.m. in the morning. The amount of people what said to me I was falling asleep until you walked out, and I woke the crowd back up. That's what's going to happen. As Mike just said, we're going to steal the show. Whether it's a 5-round war,
let's go, Paddy.
Someone gets finished in the first 2 or 3 rounds, we're going to set the crowd alight. I know it's the best card of the year. There's so many good fights on it.
Yeah, this is a stacked card.
There's no way there's going to be a better fight than me versus Chandler.
All right, well, it sounds incredible. Real quickly, Michael, can you give us a prediction? And then, Paddy, I'll get yours.
Man, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do exactly what I always do. I'm going to have 1 foot on the gas, 1 foot on Paddy's throat. I'm going to throw big bombs, and we're going to see if he sinks or swims. He's never fought a guy like I am, but that doesn't mean he's not the man for the job. So we'll see how it plays out. All I know is I'm getting my hand raised on Saturday night. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I don't think so. I hope not. He could.
And Paddy, you got a prediction?
Yeah, I've said it before. I've said it plenty of times in different interviews. I think I'm going to finish Mike in 2. As I say, I think I can finish this fight anywhere. He loves lunging in with his punches. I can see me catching him with a shot on the way in, putting him down. Or I can actually see me submitting him. I don't see a way I lose, to be honest. I really don't.
Look at the size of those paws, dude.
Come on, lad. Seen the size of these?
Look at the size of those paws.
Seen the size of these?
That's crazy.
Bird hands, dude.
I think we're gonna have a scrap on the feet, to be honest.
Yeah,
I know I
Let's
know
go.
Mike will take me down. I know he knows he'll be in for a world of trouble on the floor. So I think we're going to have a scrap on the feet.
Nice, nice. Well, all of us are looking forward to it so much, guys. Co-main event at UFC 314, Michael Chandler, Paddy
Let's
Pimblett.
go.
Thanks so much for joining us here on UFC Live.
Let's go. I'm hype. I didn't think that interview was going to get me as hype as it did, but I'm hype. I'm more hype for this fight. Michael Chandler says the right things outside of the octagon. In the octagon, he acts like a total jackass, and I don't rock with Michael Chandler. I will never be a Michael Chandler guy. It's just not going to happen, okay, ladies and gents? It's never going to happen. So this weekend, it's Team Paddy the Baddie. Let's go. We're all Scousers this weekend, and then we're all from Australia. If we're all coming from a land down under when it comes to that main event. But we'll talk about that later this week, ladies and gents. Thank you guys for being here once again. Let me know what you think about Paddy the Baddie versus Michael Chandler in the comments, and I will see you guys when I see you guys.
Featherweight, I'm more Francis Ngannou. I be the biggest problem out of any nigga I know. A little old school, like some 45 vinyls. You niggas old duels, what that do to the wino? I do it the commercial way, pay without the splits.